Australian teams searching for Malaysia Airlines Flight MH370 have stumbled upon an uncharted shipwreck.
The museum's researchers studied the sonar data from these searches.
It was supposed to be impossible. A Boeing 777 vanishing without a trace. No distress call, no wreckage, just silence. But now, after 11 years of dead ends and denial, something just changed. Terrifying new sonar images have surfaced. A distress signal buried.
Images of the wreck will be further analyzed by marine archaeologists in hopes of identifying the ship.
A passenger who may not exist, and a cargo manifest that was never meant to be seen. What really happened to MH370? You're about to see why the mystery just got darker and more real than ever before. The disappearance that should have been impossible. For 11 years, people have tried to explain how a modern Boeing 777, one of the safest, most trackable aircraft on Earth, simply evaporated from the sky. And every time you think you've heard the full story, another detail hits you like a cold wave. Because the truth is this: the deeper you go into MH370, the stranger it gets. The night it vanished, MH370 lifted off into perfect conditions.
4-year search for the missing Malaysia Airlines flight uncovered some clues to a long-standing mystery.
No storms, no system alerts. The cockpit's final words were calm, routine. The kind of phrase a pilot says thousands of times. Then, suddenly, the aircraft's transponder went dark. 2 minutes later, it fell off civilian radar completely. And here's where history gets hacked. Military radar then picked up something no one expected.
The plane disappeared from Malaysian civilian radar. Reversed course back over peninsular Malaysia.
MH370 had made a sharp, deliberate turn west, crossing the Malay Peninsula like someone was steering with intent. How does a plane vanish from one radar system, only to appear on another going the wrong direction? Some experts believe a fire broke out, leaving the crew disoriented. But fires don't politely switch off transponders. Others suspect a catastrophic decompression knocked everyone out cold, leaving the plane to ghost fly for hours. But that still doesn't explain the purposeful turns. And then there's the most controversial idea of all, that someone in the cockpit intentionally redirected the plane. Was it the captain, the co-pilot, a hijacker, or something no one has identified yet? People forget one insane detail. MH370 kept flying for 6 more hours.
But it flew west and south and continued to fly for some 6.5 hours.
6 hours without a single radio call, while the plane quietly pinged satellites thousands of miles apart.
And we have breaking news right now. Malaysia Airlines confirms it has lost contact with a plane carrying 227 passengers.
The satellite handshakes show it flying steadily into the southern Indian Ocean, as if whoever was controlling it knew exactly how to avoid detection. And just when the world started thinking it had it all figured out, new evidence kept twisting the story. Debris washing up thousands of kilometers apart, ocean drift patterns that contradict each other, radar echoes that don't match official timelines. Even fishermen from the Maldives claimed they saw a low-flying jumbo jet roaring over their island that same morning. Were they wrong? Confused? Or did MH370 make a detour no one wants to consider? The cargo manifest. What was MH370 secretly carrying? There's one part of the MH370 mystery that rarely makes headlines. Not because it's unimportant, but because the deeper you dig, the more questions it raises.
Remind you of what we're finding out. The flight number is MH370.
It's the cargo manifest, a list that should be boring, routine, predictable. But in this case, it's anything but. Officially, MH370 was carrying 14 tons of cargo. Among the listed items were fruit, semiconductors, and something simply labeled as radio accessories and batteries. But when investigators followed up, some of the documentation was missing. Other details were redacted. The batteries in question turned out to be lithium-ion, the type known to overheat and catch fire under pressure. Could a battery fire have caused a cabin event so severe it incapacitated everyone on board? But that's only the start. According to a 2014 report by the Malaysian Transport Ministry, 2 tons of items on board were classified under a highly sensitive consignment and not inspected before departure. Why? Because the cargo was reportedly under special diplomatic clearance. Let that sink in. A sealed, government-approved shipment that was waved through without screening. To this day, authorities haven't publicly disclosed what it contained. And it gets stranger.
all working together to try to find clues. The area they're searching is far larger than the continental United States.
In the years since, multiple independent investigators, including aviation journalist Jeff Wise, have raised flags about the possible interception or hijacking of the plane because of this shipment. Some speculated the cargo could have included defense-related electronics, possibly being smuggled out of Malaysia or China, making the plane a target, not just a tragedy. Others went darker, wondering if the cargo had been deliberately mislabeled to hide something even more critical. There's no proof, but that's what makes this part so haunting. Because if it was just a technical malfunction, why redact a shipping label? Why approve a diplomatic bypass for a non-diplomatic commercial flight? Why leave the families and the world without a clear record of what was in that hold? And here's the twist. New sonar imagery shows unusually dense clusters of metal debris around the suspected impact zone. Pieces that don't match aircraft structure but may be containers. Could these fragments be tied to the mysterious cargo? Could they help explain what went so terribly wrong? The passenger nobody can explain. We've talked about the plane, the sonar images, the secret cargo, but there's something else, something that doesn't show up in ocean scans or satellite pings. It's about a name, a person on the flight manifest that some experts now believe shouldn't have been there at all. When the official MH370 passenger list was released, most names were quickly verified. Chinese tourists, Malaysian nationals, business travelers from Australia, France, and Iran. But investigators noticed something odd about Seat 2A, a business class seat that appeared empty. No family stepped forward. No one filed a missing person report. No ticketing data matched the manifest. The name assigned to it? Yufeng Zhang. And here's where it gets weird. That name, Yufeng Zhang, didn't appear in immigration exit logs. It wasn't in the airline's advanced passenger information submitted to Beijing. And when foreign press tried to trace the identity, they hit a wall. No digital footprint, no passport data, no next of kin, nothing. At first, people thought it was just a clerical error. But then a former cybersecurity analyst, Charles Burrows, publicly claimed in a 2019 radio interview that his team flagged anomalous identity patterns in the flight manifest. Patterns consistent with intelligence agency tactics used to smuggle operatives or assets under false identities. According to Burrows, Yufeng Zhang was a cover name. For who? He wouldn't say. But he insisted it wasn't the only one on that flight. This theory set the internet on fire. Some claimed MH370 was carrying an intelligence operative fleeing with sensitive data. Others suggested the plane was deliberately diverted to intercept a person of interest, not for the cargo, but for who was sitting above it. And while that might sound far-fetched, here's the fact that keeps coming up. Neither Malaysian nor Chinese authorities ever addressed the missing passenger anomaly directly. They simply stopped talking about it. What if someone on board wasn't supposed to reach Beijing? What if MH370 was caught between agencies, secrets, and silence? It's easy to dismiss theories. But 11 years later, Yufeng Zhang remains one of the only names on that list that leads absolutely nowhere. And if new wreckage is confirmed and the bodies recovered, investigators may finally be forced to confront this uncomfortable truth. Was someone on board never meant to be found?